Hey, it's Shantae, and welcome to Kutztown Live. I have a great show for you guys today. First up, I have the Student Government Board President Joe Scoboria, and later today, I will have Dr. Michael Davis, who's Meteorology Professor. Okay, so the first question that I have for you is, do you think that the Student Government Board accomplished all, if not most of, your goals last semester?
All right, well, thanks for having me. First of all, it's great to be back on KUR for the 15-16 school year. In my opinion, I think that we had a really great year last year, especially reaching out to as many students as possible. And that's one thing we're going to continue this year. We have a team over at the Rec Center for the Involvement Fair today. We've already had a table in the sub. So the thing I ran on this year for re-election to president was really have that big scene on campus, have big student government. In regards to last year, I think we started off the year strong. We had a great all-around team. We worked with several units on trying to get voter awareness for the big 2014 governor election. We led a successful 5-mile march, which was documented by KUR down 222 to the voting poll. Which really raised the question of, was it really right to move a pole that's been on campus for a number of years, out of town to make it more inconvenient for students. And as the year progressed, we worked with, I was fortunate enough to be the student on the presidential search committee. I got to bring a lot of student input to the table when we had the team that was ready to choose Kutztown's next university president. I think Dr. Hawkinson was a terrific selection. He comes from a very diverse background, and he's very open to the needs of students and to make Kutztown a better place. So our student government will be working with him this year, and I think we closed the year well. We reminded students that the more feedback that you give to us, the more that we can help the students. So I really want to build on what we had last year into this year.
Yeah, so speaking of feedback, have you received good or bad feedback during your time as the Student Government Board President?
Uh, I've had good feedback about one accomplishment last year was bringing the first concert in 5 years to Kutztown, and I stand firm in the view that the only way we're going to compete with the other state schools is if we have major events and we have things that will attract prospective students to our school. And I think that having Chance the Rapper was incredible last year, and so a lot of positive views and such about that last homecoming. And we're bringing another big event this year. We're bringing
Yeah, I'm
Adam Devine.
excited.
And I can't wait for that. It's going to be another terrific homecoming for the books. But I'm open to constructive criticism and feedback, and I always tell anyone if anyone has anything that they would like brought up to the board. Every Tuesday from 5 to 7, we hold public meetings right here in the Student Union building. So anyone is open to come and share.
Yeah, I attended one of those meetings my junior year, first semester. I had an assignment to do, and I had to do a story. And one of the stories that I did was, I guess, the acting president, Vargas.
Yes, Dr. Vargas.
Yeah, I did a story on him, and he was talking about the enrollment here at Kutztown.
Yeah.
So, have you spoke to the new president yet?
I have. During the summer I was up here for a couple events after his July 1st start, and I have my first hour-long one-on-one meeting with him next week. And the guy's got a schedule that I would never want to have. He's meeting with everybody, not just people who are involved with the university, but the whole community. And I think that's what makes him special, is that I heard a week or two ago he visited one of the local elementary schools and met with students individually about letters that they had written to him and about their drawings. And as someone who's studying to become a teacher and works with children, that really stood out to me to being special.
So, what are your goals for this year? This is your final year, correct?
Yes, it's my senior year, and I have no more campaigns to run, and so this will be it. And but one of our major goals for this semester, which will hopefully be completed for next semester, is the Diversity Standing Committee to Student Government Association. The SGA, so the Student Government Board is the executive branch of the Student Government Association. So all students who pay into the SGA, everyone who pays the student activity fee. There are currently 5 standing committees which oversee and represent students on campus. So the Association of Campus Events, Off-Campus, Rec Sports, Greek Life, and Housing. And so there's been 5 standing committees on student government for years. And it is my view that, I think it is time that we develop a new standing committee for diverse student groups. And I'm talking about military, I'm talking about religious, racial, ethnic, LGBTQ, you name it. Groups who have never had a voice at high level as student government. And I say it's at a high level because of the close interaction we have with the university president and top leaders here at the university. And so right now, after last spring semester and the summer of speaking with leadership for these groups, they're very optimistic about this and enthusiastic that we can develop this semester and have it implemented for next semester. So this would be the 6th standing committee to the student government.
Oh, wow.
So it's an exciting venture that we're taking on right now, and the months of September and October are devoted to developing the bylaws for this new policy for our Constitution, and I'm excited for to get this started up. I think it's time.
Oh, wow. Wow, it seems like you have a lot of great ideas, so I'm really looking forward to what you will bring this year. This is my senior year as well.
Okay. Yeah,
so
bittersweet.
Yeah, scary. So I'm really looking forward to all the ideas that the student government board, has. I think, you've done a great job as being a student president.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on my first show.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back after this on Kutztown Live.
It's Telescopic Topics, a look into the world above us.
Why does the frigid moon Titan have scientists' minds running wild with speculation? Hello, I'm Mackenzie Whitehair. Since we've begun exploring the galaxy extensively, many have wondered if Earth is really as unique as we have always believed. While no other habitable objects have been discovered thus far, Saturn's largest moon, Titan, has proven to be more similar to Earth than any other. The first detailed information about the composition of Titan was collected in 1995 by the Cassini science team using the Hubble telescope. Their findings showed that, like Earth, Titan's atmosphere is composed mostly of nitrogen. However, the second largest element present is methane, followed by ethane, and other trace hydrocarbons. Due to this composition, Titan's atmosphere is about twice as dense as ours. Titan's surface is a frigid 94 Kelvin. Unlike Earth, though, there's no real water there to freeze. Instead, the liquid bodies are composed of methane. The bodies in which the methane collects are just like ours, lakes, rivers, and oceans, and can exist in liquid, gas, or other solid forms. Methane functions as water in this manner, when forming weather patterns. It can rain or snow just like on Earth. While the differences between Earth and Titan are many, scientists are still intrigued by the similarities, comparing the moon to a much younger, pre-life version of our planet. If major meteor impacts could cause permanent liquid pools to form on Titan, much like what happened on the young Earth, thousands of years from now, complex chemical processes could take place within those pools that would be capable of yielding microscopic organisms. As of now, this prospect is purely speculative, but research in the coming decades may provide more concrete evidence. The idea of life on Titan is still shaky at best, but the existing similarities between it and Earth are undeniable. If nothing else, it may serve as a humble reminder that Earth isn't as unique as we once thought.
Telescopic Topics, a look into the world above us. Stay tuned to KUR for more telescopic topics, and for more information, or to hear this segment again, click on the Telescopic Topics icon on the KUR website at www.kutztown.edu/KUR. Telescopic Topics is a production of the KU Physical Sciences Department and is recorded by KU astronomy students in the studios of KUR. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Hey guys, welcome back to Kutztown Live. It's Shantae here. And we had Joe earlier today, and now we're going to have Dr. Michael Davis. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, where are you from? How did you come to Kutztown?
Well, this is my 5th year here at Kutztown University, and I originally am from Cleveland, Ohio. I spent there my entire life, and I got my bachelor's in geography from Kent State University, which is right outside of Akron, Ohio. And then for my master's and PhD, I went to The Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio. And I graduated in 2011 from Ohio State, and I got my first job immediately out here. So
Wow.
ever since then, I've been the resident meteorologist on campus.
Wow, that's great. You found a job so quickly after college. I'm a senior myself, and that's something I'm nervous about, like finding a job right after college and everything. So why did you decide to study meteorology? Like, what interests you in that field?
Well, growing up, I've always been interested in the science and math fields, and I knew for the longest time that I was going to be either some type of scientist, whether it be meteorologist or geologist or chemist or something along those lines. But meteorology just spoke to me, and I pursued that field more in depth, and this brought me to where I am today.
See, I don't know too much about meteorology, so can you explain to our viewers, like, what's the difference between climate and temperature?
Okay, with meteorology, it's more of an instantaneous or kind of at that moment feel. Like if I were to say it's sunny today, that's an example of weather. It's hot today, which it certainly is, but that would be another example of weather. Now, climate, on the other hand, is weather taken over a long period of time, typically 30 years. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration typically would like 30-year periods for climate. So right now we are using the 1980 to 2010 time period for the climate change, or just climate in general. And that would be more of what temperatures are doing on a long-term scale, or what precipitation is doing, or variables along those lines. So for example, if I said the summertime is our warmest months, so like July, August, and whatnot, that'd be an example of climate.
Yeah, speaking of climate, why do you think the weather tends to be warmer nowadays? Like, it's extremely hot today, and I know that towards the fall, the temperature is supposed to drop to like 70s, maybe late 60s, and it's still like in the 90s. It's still really hot.
That is correct. It's very unseasonably warm right now, and the main reason for that would have to be a low pressure that's coming into the Pacific Northwest right now, and it's basically squishing the jet stream or constricting it. So you have this very large ridge or upswing in the jet stream that is moving northward, pushing up all this warmer air from, say, the southeastern United States. And that low pressure that's actually impacting the Pacific Northwest was once a typhoon that was impacting areas like Japan just last week. But now that storm system is impacting the British Columbia, Washington, Oregon coastline, and we're having much more warmer temperatures as a result.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there is a cold front that's going to be swinging down from the north later today and into tomorrow morning, which should provide some relief. And temperatures should get a little bit cooler, but will still be in the 80s at least for at least a couple more days. Labor Day weekend's looking fairly nice along the majority of the weekend, so students can rest assured that you'll have a nice weekend for that. And then next week's looking pretty dry as well.
Yeah.
Now, whether this has to deal with climate change or not, you can't really say specifically on this one case that we're having warmer temperatures just because of human-induced or anthropogenic climate change, but it certainly looks like the temperatures have been going up over the past few years, and you can pretty much ascertain that we must be doing something to the climate, and that pretty much corresponds with the whole carbon dioxide and greenhouse gas emissions that have been increasing over that time period as well.
Yeah, so you're saying like things have gotten worse, like as far as the weather, like it's been extreme temperatures.
Well, research out there is showing that we're going to be seeing more extreme cases of climate change, where we have much colder winters, much hotter summers.
Yes.
So there's really no moderation, but you have much larger swings that you're going to encounter. Now, that could also translate into potentially more severe storms. So there's research out there showing that you can have more stronger storms, more heavier rainfall days, more heavy winds, potentially more tornadoes, or just severe weather in general. So we do appear to be having an impact on the climate itself, and the consensus of climate research is supporting that. But you can't really name one specific event that's linked to climate change. You have to do more of a broad kind of painting on it rather than an isolated specific case.
Yeah, speaking of, the climate change or the weather temperatures, I know that it was extremely cold like last year. Like I remember like the temperatures were like 7 degrees and 5 degrees.
They certainly
And that
were.
was like really scary because I've never witnessed that before. Like I didn't know that the weather could be that cold, like in Philly. Well, not even Philly, in Philly and Kutztown because I'm from Philly.
Okay.
So I didn't know that it could be that cold. So do you think that that's going to happen again this upcoming year? Or you think it's going to be normal temperatures?
Well, the last winter certainly was
extremely
cold,
cold, yes.
where we had wave after wave of the polar vortex, that lobe of cold energy that pretty much sits over the polar region, come down and impact the mid-latitude, specifically out here in the eastern U.S. Now, that specific case could be made for future winters due to climate change, but more or less, I think this winter is going to be a little bit different because we have a major feature that is currently sitting out in the equatorial Pacific. So thousands of miles away, it could be affecting our weather in the form of the El Nino that's developing. You have a very strong El Nino possibility for this winter. And you're looking at ocean temperatures that could be well above normal. And the National Weather Service actually stated a few weeks ago that this could be the Godzilla El Nino, breaking the historical strongest El Nino that we saw in 1997 when we had a lot of heavy rainfall across Southern California. Now, with El Nino, the Northeast is typically warmer on average.
What is the El Nino? Can you explain that a little bit more?
Certainly. Basically, you have the equatorial waters around the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Mexico and South America, where they fluctuate. And they fluctuate based on the strength of the trade winds or the prevailing winds that are in that area. So in an El Nino event, those winds are actually weaker, so they don't push the water as much. Since that force is weakened, the sun's energy can actually strike the surface of the ocean, which warms that water up. So you have this pool of warm water that's sitting pretty much in the equatorial Pacific, extends thousands of miles out into the Pacific Ocean. Now, when you have that warmer ocean water, you're going to get changes in the climate across the entire globe. Now, for North America, typical El Nino conditions, which usually manifest around Christmas time, you have warmer temperatures in the Northeast, you have a more wet Southeast, and you have a more wet desert Southwest. The Pacific Northwest is also a little bit drier as well, a little bit warmer. So you have these teleconnections or ways in which El Nino can manifest in different portions of the country. And this is a major driver, and you have a year by year, it's usually about 3 to 7 years or so, between El Nino periods that can affect our long-term climate.
Mm-hmm.
So then, in terms of another thing with El Nino is that you have suppressed hurricane activity, which is what we are currently observing in the Atlantic Ocean. Just this week, we've had Hurricane Fred that just appeared off the western coast of Africa, but it's meandering up into the North Atlantic and slowly fizzling out due to the colder waters. So we've only gotten to the F storm, and we're reaching the peak in hurricane season, and it's been very quiet across most of the Atlantic Ocean this entire season. That's not the case with the Pacific Ocean, where you have warmer ocean temperatures, which have creating more numerous storms out there. In fact, just earlier this week that there were 3 Category 4 hurricanes with winds in excess of about 130 miles per hour that you would get near Hawaii. It's the first time ever that we've observed 3 very strong hurricanes in the Pacific Ocean.
It's crazy. I mean, I'm just happy that I live in Philly, so I don't think we haven't had too many like disasters. So I think we've been very fortunate enough not to have that.
Well, being up here in the Northeast, we have a slightly lower risk of hurricanes, but that's what we saw in 2012 when we had Sandy come through. And look what Sandy did to the area around here. Some areas still haven't recovered from Sandy. But fortunately, we don't have to worry about any hurricanes anytime soon here.
So, like, do you teach your students all about El Nino and all the weather disasters? Like, how do your classes work?
Well, for El Nino specifically, I get into more of that in my climatology class, which is geared more toward upperclassmen, upper-level science students. Now, in meteorology, that I teach more for the general education science requirement with the lab. That deals more with just introducing the concept of El Nino. I don't talk about it in my introductory to freshman class of physical geography, but in meteorology, I get more into the definitions and what storms, tornadoes, hurricanes are capable of. But in more upper level division classes like climatology, weather analysis, and I'm picking up global warming and climate change for the first time. I'm looking forward to that.
That sounds exciting.
I get more into the actual dynamics and mechanics behind those systems and what they are capable of doing.
Okay.
The students always enjoy hearing about tornadoes, hurricanes, and thunderstorms. It just drives their interest, I think.
Yeah,
a lot of fascination around
I didn't
that.
know that science class existed here, because I've taken biology. That's the only class I've taken, anthropology and things like that. But I didn't know that there was a meteorology course.
It exists, and the students are always happy that they take it. I think that they're just inherently interested in meteorology, and they want to know more about the weather. And it's a good draw, definitely.
So,
take it before you graduate, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it because this is my last year. I'm a senior, and I have all my classes for this semester, but I still have one more semester left. Do you ever think that you could like broadcast meteorology, or do you think that you need to know like the science behind it before you could even broadcast it? Like,
If you're going to be going into broadcast meteorology,
yeah.
it wouldn't hurt to know the basic concepts of it. Usually you're tailoring your talks about weather to a general audience, so you don't have to bombard them with over-the-top scientific terms. So just a general idea of it would be ideal, I would say, for broadcast meteorology. If you wanted to go ahead and major in meteorology or get more advanced, then that's certainly icing on the cake. But I don't think it's overly qualified.
You don't think it's required to broadcast it?
No.
Yeah, because I tried doing it, and it was really hard. I don't know if you heard of Newsbreak. It's the television station here at Kutztown. And for the auditions, I attempted to, broadcast the weather, and it was really hard. So I was just like wondering, did I need to study the science behind it in order for me to know how to, portray it or, to the viewers? I wasn't like sure.
I think another
to do it. I was terrible, really terrible.
I think another thing too with broadcast meteorology is you need to have a strong background in geography, because
I've never taken geography. Like, never.
well, we got a
Not
whole
even
suite
in
of
high
classes
school.
here.
Yeah, not even in high school. Like, it wasn't required. I
Mhm.
never taken geography at all.
Ah, well, even more reason to take geography in the spring, right?
Yeah.
Because if you want to know where the storms are occurring or where the sunny conditions are happening, you need to know like regions of the country like the Great Lakes or New England or
Mhm.
even specific states like Michigan or Nebraska or Colorado or
Yeah.
something along those lines.
Yeah, so like you've never, but like you still never ever thought like to broadcast meteorology. Like my favorite is Sue Serio. She's on Fox 29. I actually interned there this summer, and it was just so interesting to see her and Scott. Scott actually majored in meteorology.
Mhm.
He did the major, study it, and everything in school, and then he actually thought that it would be interesting to broadcast it. So like, do you ever think that you could do that, like at all?
I often tell people that I never got into broadcast meteorology because I don't have a pretty face for TV. But that being said, I never really had any interest in broadcast meteorology or being on TV or the radio or some other sort of media outlet giving my weather forecasts. And if I had a nickel every time I had a person come up to me and say, "Oh, so you're going to be on TV?" I'd be like, I would have been able to pay my entire tuition, I think, off that money.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to try it, like just to see. Or like you could even teach Newsbreak a little bit about meteorology. Like that would be interesting if you could like just come in and give a little history about it or some information about it, about meteorology and what it entails. I think that would be like interesting if you could do that
Ooh.
maybe once in a while or just once time period because I'm part of Newsbreak and I want to learn how to do that. I want to do cuz like I'm interested in going to broadcasting.
Okay.
So I always thought to myself, like, I don't know if I should do weather, news, entertainment, but like I thought weather was easy. Like I thought like you just like say it's gonna be hot today, cold tomorrow, like a high of 74, low of 56. Like I felt like it was just like that. But when I actually was looking at Sue and looking at Scott, it was like much harder than I thought it would ever be.
Weather forecasting is a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
You have to basically understand the patterns and what the atmosphere is capable of doing. Very often you can have a forecast that goes bust or bad, for lack of a better term, and you get your forecast that might be completely off. So that's when you get the people that say, oh, the meteorologist is always wrong. Well, research has shown that the meteorologist is right most of the time, 24 hours out.
Yeah. I've said that to myself, like, oh, well, I watched the weather and they told me it was going to be hot today and it turned out to be rainy, like I'll be saying that to myself sometimes.
And I always tell my students that they always remember when the meteorologist was wrong, but never when he was right.
That's true. Yeah, that's really true.
Do you
'Cause
mind if
I
we jump
usually,
in?
I usually blame it on the weather person, like the news lied to me. That's what I always say. Because I have like a little news app on my phone and it tells me like how hot or cold it's going to be. Like I knew it was going to be hot this whole entire week, which is really surprising. So, but that's why I have the app for. But so far they've been correct this week. So I was just interested to see if you ever thought about doing that.
Not personally, no.
No.
But the weather this week has been pretty stagnant with the persistent high pressure in place. So I often tell students that it's boring with meteorology right now because there's nothing going on in the atmosphere.
Yeah. So, like, can you give us a estimate of what it's going to be in the fall and winter?
Well, looking at the winter outlook, we have, well, let me start by saying that they have El Nino right now. And typically with that El Nino, like I stated earlier, that we have a generally warmer than average winter. But the problem, too, with El Nino is that this is now in almost a runaway, I hate to use that term, but maybe out of control upward trend in temperature with climate change. And we don't know what climate change is actually capable of doing to other oscillations, such as the Arctic oscillation, which could affect how wavy the jet stream gets. Now, the second part of that would then be because of the difference in temperatures between the polar area, tropics, you're going to have a lot more waves associated with the atmosphere. and a jet stream. So you can have a lot of cold air outbreaks and a lot of warm air. And to fuel thunderstorms and stronger winter storms, you need that sharp temperature gradient. So while El Nino is typically a warmer than average winter, we could be facing times where we get these blasts of cold air that could bring some pretty significant snows.
Oh God, I hate snow. I really hate snow.
So I think we might be in for a ride this winter. But I think
God.
generally speaking, I believe we're going to be warmer than average,
Oh, thank God. Yeah.
but more stormy.
That's not good. You just that's not good.
So
don't know,
I
hate
guess
the
it's a little
winter.
bit of good and a little bit of bad.
Yeah, I hate the winter, honestly, because I just can't deal with the snow. I hate going out the cold. I mean, the good part about it is that we do get off from class. That's the only good thing. Not saying that I hate school or anything, but, it feels good to have a couple days off, from class. That's the only good thing I like, but I can't deal with the snow. I just don't like the cold. And it was really,
Yeah.
really harsh last winter. It was really bad.
And there's always a correlation with snow days and people thanking the meteorologist.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Davis, for giving us this wonderful snow day, even though I have no control over it.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I'm not really too excited about the winter time. Like I just even though I'm complaining about how hot it is right now, I'm fine with it being like this until October. But it's probably not. October is usually when it starts getting cold.
Yeah, usually by start of fall, around this time, we should be getting about the 70s or so. We're still
Yeah, we're
well
still in the
above
90s
that.
though.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're still well above average for temperatures. But when this cold front comes through today, we should be getting down toward 80. So that's a
So-
little bit less in terms of magnitude of this warm period.
Yeah, so you're guessing around October is when it's gonna be 60s.
Yes, I would say that.
Yeah, and what's your favorite season, by the way? 'Cause mine is spring.
My favorite season is actually winter. I
Oh,
will admit it's
why?
winter.
Why?
I just like how pristine the world looks with the snow everywhere and how pretty it is. And you can go outside, you can make a snowman.
I mean, it's pretty, I guess, but it's too cold for me.
But I will say my second favorite season's autumn because I like
Okay.
the colors and the apple cider that you can go drink and
Mm-hmm.
go around at the corn mazes. I love corn mazes.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I do like about the winter and fall? I love the holidays. Like, I love the family holidays because I love, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day. I love all of those holidays. So that's what I can say I like about the winter. Other than that, I just don't like the cold. I don't like cleaning up the snow. I don't like driving in snow now that I have a car. I see, what everyone goes through because you got to shovel the snow out and you get stuck in a snowstorm. Like, I remember last year it was a terrible snowstorm. In January, my car just spun around, and that was really scary for me.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah, that was crazy.
being from Cleveland, we are used to heavy lake effect snows where you
Mm-hmm.
can get almost 2 feet of snow overnight. And I remember one Thanksgiving that we had a foot of snow that fell that morning on Thanksgiving. I had to go outside and shovel the drive pretty much several times and then come in and have my turkey.
Yeah, I'm just not looking forward to that at all. I just can't stand the winter. I can't stand the snow. And I know that I'm from Philly, so at Kutztown, the weather is a little bit different. I would say it's probably like 5 degrees colder or something like that. Am I right? Like 5 degrees colder.
It usually is a little bit colder here than
Mm-hmm.
in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and my brother's in East Stroudsburg University, so that's even colder than Kutztown, or it's about the same.
And then you also have the elevational differences with the Poconos and the taller mountains further to our north that can affect the weather.
Yeah, so you live around here?
Yes, I live around this region.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm from Philly, so I do notice a slight change when I go home on the weekends, and then when I come back here, it's definitely a little bit colder. So I'm definitely not, I don't know, I'm really not looking forward to the cold. I'm not. But I definitely think that it would be good for you to come into Newsbreak, to tell us a little bit more about meteorology.
Oh, definitely.
And I think that it will make our weather anchors a bit better. That's what
Anything I can
think.
do to improve the weather forecasting around here.
Yeah. We meet Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6:30 p.m. though.
So
maybe-
evening.
Yeah, evening. So if you could squeeze that in, even if you just come one time, that would be fine. Like just one time.
Mm-hmm.
The meetings haven't started yet because today was the involvement fair. I'm not sure if there's a meteorology club. Is there one?
There is a geographical society, not so much a meteorology club, but it's a bunch of students that are interested in geography, and we do a bunch of tours. We go hiking, we can go geocaching, and they meet every Tuesday at 11 o'clock in the Graduate Center, room 2. And a few years ago, we went on a field trip to the National Weather Service in Philadelphia.
What?
So we got to see their facility and how they make the forecasts. I'm trying to get us a trip to the one in Dulles because they have weather balloon launches.
Oh, that'd be cool.
They do not do weather balloon launches in Philadelphia, unfortunately.
That's weird because Philly's supposed to be a good market too.
Well, when you do weather balloon launches, the National Weather Service wants to space them out evenly across the country. You have Dulles that does one outside D.C. Pittsburgh does one. I believe Wilmington, Ohio, where I'm from, or at least my home state, they do one as well. So you see they're kind of spaced out because they want more or less even spacing between the two. They're not going to condense them all into one area.
So you mentioned Washington D.C., correct?
Yes.
So why not Washington? It's closer. Like why Dallas? That's a bit far from Kutztown.
Oh, Dulles Airport, I'm sorry.
Oh, Dallas.
Outside of D.C.
Oh, okay.
Not Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, I thought you
Although
said
they do
Dallas.
one too.
Yeah. I thought you said Dallas, Texas. I'm like, that's far. Yeah, I've never been to Dallas.
Well,
So you're trying to do a trip there in the spring?
Well, we're not planning one actively, at least as
Okay.
far as I know, but perhaps we could talk about that in the Geography Society meeting.
Yeah.
So anyone's perfectly welcome to come join us. We accept
Yeah.
all majors. You don't have to be geography or interested in meteorology.
Yeah, I mean, you can also mention it to the student government board or ACE or anything that can help with funding. I'm not sure if your club was at the involvement fair, right?
Yes, we were.
Yeah, I was there earlier today, and I think it was a great turnout. So maybe if you have enough members, they can all pitch in or pay dues or something in order to fund for it, so that y'all can attend it in the spring or I don't know when you wanted to, but you do see yourself.
And we're
Oh,
also
yeah.
considering maybe going to State College where AccuWeather is headquartered. So look at
Yeah.
more of a private industry and how they forecast weather.
So which one would be easier to go to? Would it be that one or the one in Dulles?
I would probably say the students might get more interesting feedback and enjoyment out of AccuWeather, more so than, say, going to D.C. area, where the students have already really seen a National Weather Service office operate. So I think getting a blend of both the governmental side and the private sector would be a good opportunity for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should try to aim for both.
Of
both
course.
this year. Yeah, why not?
Why not, indeed?
Yeah, like the involvement fair will be good because you're trying to increase your membership. And you can also do fundraisers, get sponsors, talk to the student government board. We also have a new president. You can talk to him about helping you guys get there. I think you should make it work. If not both, then at least one. At least one of the trips.
Yes, 'cause
I think you should.
We need to be encouraging students to go on these field trips or excursions in order to essentially keep the club vibrant and
Yeah, of course.
enjoyable for all the students that are involved.
Yeah. I think that trips or events make people want to join the organization. It has to be something, I don't want to say this, but it has to be something in for students. Like, why should I join this club? Or what makes it interesting? Because that's the type of things that I look for when I go to clubs.
Instead of just meeting and talking about what you want to do, actually perform something too.
Yeah. It should be interactive. It should be sociable. It should be all of those things. Fun events. That's everything that I look for in a club. And I think that going on field trips is definitely a good way for people to be more sociable, more interactive with each other, and plus it's fun. So I'm not sure how much it would cost to go there or anything like that, but I think you should do it. That's what I think.
And we've even talked about doing things locally, like walking around Hawk Mountain or going snow tubing at Bear Creek or something like that.
Where are those at? I'm not sure.
Hawk Mountain
Yeah.
is in Kempton, or just outside Kempton, so it's a little bit northwest of here. And they have a whole bunch of raptors, so birds of prey that migrate across that area. And it's a whole wildlife sanctuary, so you can do bird watching or go on many of the hikes around the trails. And then just snow tubing at a skiing area.
Yeah, that would be like a nice little retreat. I think I can see you're probably doing that trip in I guess the fall, and then the other trips in the spring.
Yeah, the Hawk Mountain's best, I would say, during the fall when all the
Yeah.
colors are out. in the tree.
Yeah. So like, how is the membership of your organization? Like, would you say you got a decent amount of members so that you can do these activities, or you're trying to increase your membership?
Well, we're always looking to increase our membership.
Yeah.
We just had our first meeting just this past Tuesday, so I can't really state on how our current enrollment is, but we have about 10, 15 students that are involved right now.
That's a decent. I think that's a decent amount. I think that's definitely a decent amount. But like you said, you can always increase your membership.
Oh,
The more, the
definitely.
better.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
It makes the club
money.
more fun.
Yeah, of course. So I definitely think that, you know, you can do it. But I thank you so much for being part of my first show here on Kutztown Live.
The People Chronicles is a website that shares inspiring stories from Berks County and beyond. You can find a story that speaks to you or share a story of your own. Check out The People Chronicles online at thepeoplechronicles.com.
And hear those inspiring stories every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. here on KUR.
I, King Henry VIII, invite you to experience the excitement of the glorious 35th anniversary season of the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. Join me as I return to revel in the mirth and merriment, Saturdays and Sundays through October 25th. Meet me upon the Shire of Mount Hope, home of the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. Experience the fantasy at Turnpike exit 266. Save $5 at parenfair.com.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Would you like to hear positive and uplifting stories? The People Chronicles is a website that shares inspiring stories from Berks County and beyond. You can find a story that speaks to you or share a story of your own. Check out The People Chronicles online at thepeoplechronicles.com.
And hear those inspiring stories every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. here on KUR.
And we just got done talking to Dr. Davis. That was a good little interview. It was my first time meeting him. So hopefully he comes back to Newsbreak. I'm interested in hearing about meteorology and what he can do to help us with Newsbreak. And I'm going to talk about the MTV Awards. I don't know if any of you watched the MTV Awards, but it was an interesting show. Miley Cyrus hosted it. It was her first time hosting the MTV Awards, and you know how crazy and silly Miley Cyrus can be. But what I thought was interesting that Kanye West, he received the Vanguard Award, and he did this 12-minute speech. Like, he started off like, I guess, issuing an apology to Taylor, and then he started off rambling about artists and how he's not going to apologize. So it was kind of like he was contradicting himself in a way. But what I want to talk about is, at the end of his speech, he mentioned that he was going to run for president in 2020. So, Nick, what are your thoughts on that? Like, what do you feel about Kanye running for president? Do you feel as though he will make a great president?
Well, I think interestingly enough, Shantae, that when you were talking, I'm thinking that we have another person that's very similar to Kanye West, and that's Donald Trump. They both seem to be people who are really into themselves, and both think that they would do the job to, in a sense, save the country from ourselves, in a sense, right? I can't imagine that Kanye would be a credible president, because he has no experience when it comes to politics, first of all, that I'm aware of. He has good intentions from what he said at the awards, you know. So what do you think? How do you go from being, I mean, Ronald Reagan was an entertainer. Before he became president.
do?
He was in the movies many years,
Wow.
and people think of Ronald Reagan as the great conservative, which he was, but he was also a liberal before he became a conservative. So it's not uncommon for entertainers to get into politics. Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? For the Terminator and all the movies he's done, and he became the governor of California.
Yeah,
so
I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about that. So you're saying he doesn't have any experience in politics, but then again, there were previous presidents who didn't have any experience in politics. They had experience in the entertainment industry, and things turned out to be, okay.
Well, I think it has to do with one of the characteristics. I think has to do with likability. People have to like you as well as you know what you're doing. And you can see what's going on with Trump. People like his message. Whether he's sincere or not, I guess only time will tell. So is Kanye a likable person, in your opinion?
Kanye. I feel like the media has a love-hate relationship with Kanye. That's what I feel. So I'm not 100% sure. It's like, I feel like they like his style, they like his confidence, but then another way they thinks he's arrogant. So I'm not sure if they love Kanye. I didn't even know the media even loved Donald Trump, to be honest with you.
Right, exactly.
I didn't know that. I'm like, he's been getting negative, comments lately.
I think people who run for president have to have some large ego to be able to do it. But there's a difference between having a large ego, Shantae, and being a narcissist, where everything has to be about you. And I think, I don't know, Kanye, you're more into pop culture than I am, but somebody like Donald Trump, by the things that he says and the things that he does, it's truly all about him. So it's hard for me to see him as a person who would be able to reach out and help the country, even though he says he does that. And Kanye West, I mean, you know what I remember him for? Maybe I'm wrong about this, but wasn't Taylor Swift receiving an award at one of those things, and he started talking about Beyonce, right?
You know what's funny? She actually presented him with the Vanguard Award at the MTV Awards. But
right.
Yes, back in 2009. I think he kind of like helped her, increase her, fan base a little bit. But back in 2009, he interrupted and said, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think Beyonce had one of the greatest, videos of all time. Like, he completely interrupted her speech. And this time, Taylor Swift kind of jokingly said, I don't mean to interrupt any of you, but Kanye deserves this award.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But Kanye and Taylor, they're like really cool right now. But yes, Kanye is known for that, and they will never ever let him forget that he did that.
I don't think I thought Taylor Swift was actually pretty gracious with him at this one, right? In spite of the fact of what he did to her in 2009. So I felt I respected Taylor Swift for the way she treated that, compared to the way he treated the last time that it happened. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot see maybe Jay-Z running for president. I would consider Jay-Z a better president than Kanye. I know that both of them are associated with others. So maybe if Jay-Z ran, I'll probably vote for him.
Do you think people take them seriously about things other than their music, though? I know, Shantae, you told me you love, his music, right? You love Kanye's music. Do they take these people serious as a person who might be a candidate?
Jay-Z's a good businessman. He's more than just a rapper.
Okay.
He has a streaming service called Tidal, where he works with several other artists like Nicki Minaj, Madonna, things like that. He has a clothing label, and he also has sort of like an PR label or something.
Okay.
Like, he signs basketball players, he signs artists. So Jay-Z is a good businessman. So that's why I think that maybe he could potentially be a better president than Kanye.
But he hasn't said anything about wanting to run or anything. It's only Kanye said that.
He hasn't mentioned anything about running for president. I can't see him running for president.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't know if Kanye is actually running or he's just doing this to cause a stir. I'm not sure if Kanye is running or not. I'm honestly not, but it's been really in the media crazy. Kanye's running for president 2020, and I'm just like, oh God, really?
So could you see Kim as the first lady of the United States?
No.
Because if he got to be president, she would be our first lady.
Be modest, and I cannot see. Their whole family is very controversial.
There you go.
They're all about being, sexy and everything like that. So I cannot see Kim.
I would be concerned about the country if actually we elected somebody like that. I'm concerned if we end up electing somebody like Donald Trump, even though a lot of people like him. But then, and his wife is a model, I think, right?
Really?
Donald Trump's current wife is
he
a
has a new
model,
wife.
right? This
I'm
is his
not
third,
sure.
I think.
I'm not sure. Yo, I didn't even know he was even married.
Yeah, this is his
Yeah.
third wife, and this wife. He always marries these very,
Young women.
beautiful model
Got
type.
money.
Marla Maples was the wife before this. Ivana Trump was the one before that, and now he has
Vanna
this
Trump
one.
was pretty.
Yeah. So, but can you picture them as the first lady? When you
I don't know
compare
what his wife
somebody
looks like.
uh,
I'm not sure how she is, but I cannot picture Kanye as Kanye's not even politically correct a lot of the times.
Right.
So I cannot picture Kanye as president. I cannot. So we won't know until 2020 rolls around. Like if he's going to be president.
He has a big ego.
He does have a
he
big
he
ego.
has that. So now we'll
Yes.
have to see whether or not. I guess it'll depend on who becomes president in 2016, right? For what happens in 2020 as to
Yeah.
whether or not Kanye is serious about this. Will people take him seriously? I don't know. It's a fascinating topic, though.
Yeah, I think I might vote for Hillary.
You might vote for Hillary?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
okay.
I might vote for Hillary.
Okay.
I like the Clintons actually, so I think that's the person I'm going to vote for. I haven't seen any other candidates that I think I will vote for, but I definitely think I might vote for
Okay,
Hillary.
interesting stuff.
We make history selecting, Barack Obama, and I think we make history again if we select Hillary. But then again, I don't just want to vote for her because she's a woman.
Right.
I know like she has been doing a lot of service work for different cultures and things like that.
People,
so I think that's
she's
good.
a personality that you can't be neutral about. People either really love her or they really don't like her at all. With a scandal about the emails now that they're talking about, it's raising a lot of questions about her. So. But anyway, we'll have to see, right?
Yeah, we will definitely have to see. We'll see what happens when 2020 rolls around. But I just want to thank everyone for tuning in to Kutztown Live.